What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. Man, there's just so much going on. So much drama going on. So over the last I'd say probably about 6 to 10 days, there's been a lot of conversation about something that I'm trying to remember when I did my video on it. I think it was maybe like a couple months ago, where we're talking about backyard breaks and the likelihood or the probability that they can pull some of these massive cards that they've been pulling over the last 6 months or so. And it's since then raised a whole lot of eyebrows. And, you know, there's a lot of conversations. There's so many people out there covering this and so many other YouTube channels that are covering this. Sports Card Radio just did like a whole 8 or 9 hour live stream where they had dozens of guests all on. You know, everybody from, you know, AIH to Dan the Man to, I mean, it's a big old long live stream, and the topic at hand was in fact this situation about whether or not backyard breaks, if there's something funky going on with Panini handing out loaded boxes or handing out you know, boxes that they know contain these massive cards. You know, the triple logo man that they hit, the LeBron James triple logo man, they hit the Cade triple logo, the Cade Prism 1 of 1s. I mean, look, there's so much content out there about that already. You guys, I'll find a couple of the really good videos and link them down below so you guys can go check out some of these other content creators that have done a great job of covering the mathematics behind all of this and everything, because that's not what I want to get into and what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is sort of, you know, the one thing that I don't feel anybody's really talking about, and that's the fact that there is all of this seemingly probable evidence, right, that there's something funky going on, and there's all these folks that are coming out of the woodworks, you know, putting on more and more proof that the likelihood of those events happening are just astronomical. I mean, there's just no way. And what I'm more concerned about, and I say concerned, but I'm really not surprised. More concerned, more surprised than not surprised than concerned, is the fact that Panini, as a company, has yet, over the last 2 weeks that this has been boiling, and it's essentially come to a head now where, you know, it's getting all of this coverage. Panini has yet to release a single statement, either saying, you know, completely denying these rumors, or doing anything of the sort to say, you guys are crazy. Here are the real odds. Here's what's going on. Nothing has ever come out from Panini directly, kind of denouncing these allegations or coming out and defending themselves and defending their reputation, their honor. And, you know, as I'm watching all of this unfold, that was my first thing is, well, what is Panini saying? What is Panini saying? Well, Panini's saying nothing. But then, and I was kind of starting to get a little upset about that. But then I thought to myself, well, Panini's on their way out. And, you know, their buyout is imminent. It's all but complete. It's all but done. I mean, I think they're just, you know, finalizing a few things or whatever the case may be. But if you really think about it, if you look at the history of business, period, some of the more, you know, morally questionable things that a company has done in the past, and I'm not just talking about in the hobby, I'm just talking about companies in general and business in general. A lot of the, you know, a lot of the shady stuff starts happening as a company starts to fall apart. And it's not surprising to me that Panini hasn't said anything about any of this. Because frankly, I don't think they care. They're on their way out. They've already lost all of the licenses. They've already, began doing shady stuff with, with the patches and things like that. I'm not surprised that Panini isn't saying anything. And what concerns me the most is what is in store for us as collectors over the next couple of years. If things like this, right, where somebody can just do some simple math and do some simple extrapolation of numbers and come to a conclusion that is very hard to deny, because there's been a lot of people that have come out of the woodworks and defended backyard breaks, or defended Latent Sports, or defended some of these other big breakers. There's people that have been coming out, and even though they're coming out defending these companies and these breakers, they haven't really provided much evidence in terms of, or negating the math, right? They haven't come out and go, well, this is why you're wrong, and this is why your math is wrong, because your variable that you have there is simply incorrect, or it's simply not true. Things that, once again, Panini could put out very simply. And when companies like this don't make an effort to not be transparent, is when things are really bad. Part of what grew this channel was my search for some sort of transparency in the debacle that was PSA, when they completely got inundated with orders and everybody was trying to figure out something. People wanted answers, and there was nothing. There was no transparency. There was no communication from PSA. There was nothing. And that's what allowed this channel to grow some legs, because I was trying my best with whatever information I can grasp at to put together some sort of story. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing now. People are really questioning what's going on with these breakers and Panini potentially handing out these loaded boxes. But I don't think we're going to get anything. I don't think we're going to get any satisfaction. Panini is not going to make any announcement because they don't have to. They're dead. Panini is dead. They no longer hold the licenses, right? I mean, they have all but sold the company, or what's left of it, to Fanatics. And their reputation is complete dog shit in the industry as of right now. Nobody in their right mind is, I mean, their prices are dropping. Their product is on the shelves. Their product is online. It's available. They're just on their way out. And good riddance, if you ask me. Because if you look back at the history of what Panini has done in the hobby over the last, however long it was that they've had those licenses, what is it, 10 years, 15 years that they've had the licenses? 2009, I'd say. So about 10 or 11 years that they've had these licenses. I can't honestly say that they have propelled the hobby forward. They haven't done anything other than, squeeze it for every drop that it can get out of it. I'm really curious to get everyone's thoughts on this, because while there's a lot of information out there regarding this, the one piece of information that could either put all of this to bed would be a statement from Panini. And they just simply haven't made one. And I think that speaks volumes. For one, I can't wait for them to be out of the picture completely. And I'm very much looking forward to see what Fanatics does with the hobby going forward. Because what they've done with merchandising and what they've done with memorabilia and things like that in that space, they've taken it forward. And I hope they do the same thing with the hobby. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. As always, I appreciate you guys always watching, listening. Check out the podcast. Is the Card Hedge podcast on YouTube. We drop it on YouTube, but it's also on Apple. It's also on Google, Stitcher. Yeah. Love you guys. Peace.